Hello, friends, welcome you all. I welcome you in a new fresh semester. In this semester, I am going to teach you the subject central banking. Today, in this very first lecture, I am going to take the overview of the syllabus, and from the next lecture, we will start actual content. So central banking is very important subject because you will understand the monetary mechanism of the economy, because the central bank of any country is the apex monetary authority, and it controls whole banking system and a monetary mechanism in the country. So there are two very important policies are there in the economy. First is monetary policy, and second is fiscal policy. So fiscal policy is implemented by the government, and monetary policy is constructed and implemented through a banking channel by the central bank. So central bank is the money market controller, regulator of money market. So money market means the where the fund transacted for the very short term period. So the money market controller is the central bank, and whole money market is regulated by the central bank. So in India, Reserve Bank of India is our central bank. So we have discussed various types of banks in last semester, but in this semester we are going to focus only on the central banking. So the what is the role of RBI in the economy, we are going to discuss. So let us start discussing the syllabus. Before that, what is the structure of syllabus? Structure of syllabus is as you have appeared in the examination, and you have done practical internal practical works in the last semester. So here semester end exam is for 60 marks, and continuous internal assessment for 40 marks. Total 100 marks you have to total 100 marks examination you have to uh, uh, appear for that. It is a newly developed syllabus. You are lucky enough because the syllabus is very nicely and very it is prepared by the BOS committee with very great efforts, and included very current topics and relevant topics considering your future career also. So a credit assigned here, 4 credits, and total hours, teaching hours are 60 hours. So now let's move towards the syllabus. The course objective of this syllabus. Course objective means what is expected to do from you, and what will you able what you will learn after completing this syllabus, and what capacities you will build up after completing this syllabus. That is called course outcomes or course objectives. The first course objective is learner will able to understand evolution and administration of central bank. Evolution and administration of central bank is very important, because evolution in India we are going to discuss later on, but evolution shows how the monetary system of a country changed according to time period, and administration also shows the efficiency and effectiveness of central bank working of central bank. Second course objective is learner will able to understand and apply monetary policy and its tools. Sorry, here spelling mistake is there. Learner will understand very important policy, that is monetary policy, how it is constructed and how it is implemented. Third course outcome is learner will able to understand currency management system of RBI. So currency management system is a very interesting thing, how Reserve Bank of India manages whole currency system in the country. You will understand after completing this syllabus. Learner will able to understand nature and structure of public debt management and development. So different roles RBI plays in the economy. So after completing this syllabus, the students or learner will understand the structure of public debt. Public debt means the government debts. So actually central government debts managed by Reserve Bank of India on behalf of central government, and a whole the management done by the Reserve Bank of India. So public debt means government's debts have various implications. So when public debts changes its form, for example, if Reserve Bank of India finances to the government as a deficit financing, if government do not get that much revenue and expenditure increases, then Reserve Bank of India have to print more money, and if Reserve Bank of India prints more money, then it leads to increase in the price level, and it leads to the inflationary situation in the country. Inflation means increases in the prices. In Marathi we called it mahagai. So these were the course outcomes. Now let us discuss the actual syllabus, contents of actual syllabus. First thing is we have to learn, we have to discuss evolution of central bank in India. How central bank evolved. Evolution means as we have discussed in the last semester, how the bank had evolved. Like that, how central bank evolved in the India. For example, there were three presidency banks in India. They were combined into the one Imperial Bank of India in 1921. Imperial Bank of India worked as a central bank as well as a commercial bank at the same time. So central bank in the sense, Imperial Bank of India have worked as a government's banks, but Imperial Bank of India was not the right of printing money. The printing of money done by the at that time government, but the one central banking function done by the Imperial Bank of India. After that, in 1926, Hilton Young Commission studied the Indian economy and recommended that Reserve Bank of India or the separate central bank should be there, and a fresh bill introduced in the parliament. But there were some issues related to the administration and some hierarchical structure of the Reserve Bank of India, and that bill failed in the parliament. In the 1933, again central banking inquiry committee set up, and that central banking inquiry committee recommended of establishing Reserve Bank of India, and according to that, in 1934, Reserve Bank of India Act passed, and Reserve Bank of India came into existence, established in the established on 1st April 1935. So this is the evolution of central bank in India. So we are going to discuss more things in that content, evolution of central bank in India. Then we are going to discuss the organizational structure and management of RBI in the second content of the first unit. Then what are the functions of Reserve Bank of India? Reserve Bank of India plays very vital role in the Indian economy. Uh, in every economy, central bank have very important role. So what are the functions of Reserve Bank of India? Here regulatory functions are, traditional functions are there. Traditional means for that function Reserve Bank of India came into existence. Then regulatory functions means Reserve Bank of India regulates all the banking institutions in the country, provide the license for banks. Then it regulates the NBFC sector. So these are the regulatory functions. Then developmental functions. Development works done by the Reserve Bank of India. So developmental works are there. Then promotional functions are there. So all these traditional regulatory development and promotional functions we are going to discuss in the third content of the first unit. Then fourth content is devoted to various departments of RBI. So RBI have many departments, and Reserve Bank of India functions through these departments. So each department have very important role, important functions to do in the economy, and it affects whole economy of India. So we are going to discuss in a detail various departments of RBI. And this was the first unit. In the second unit, the name of second unit is monetary policy. So monetary policy is very important tool to control the whole economy. So there are two important policies, that is monetary policy and fiscal policy. So fiscal policy, as I told you earlier, fiscal policy is constructed by the government, and monetary policy is constructed by the Reserve Bank of India in Indian economy. So what is the meaning of monetary policy? Objectives, what are the objectives of monetary policy? And also we are going to discuss the MPC. MPC means Monetary Policy Committee. So monetary policy committee construct the whole monetary policy. So meaning, its objectives, what are the goals or objectives fulfilled by the monetary policy, we are going to discuss in the first content. The structure of MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee, who construct monetary policy, we are going to discuss in the first content. In the second content, we are going to discuss the two hands of the monetary policy, or two instruments of monetary policy. These are the very important instruments through which Reserve Bank of India implements the monetary policy. So first instrument is quantitative instruments, and second is qualitative instrument. We called it measures also. So quantitative measures and qualitative measures also. So quantitative measures means what is the monetary policy? Monetary policy means controlling the supply of money in the economy. So supply of money have various effects on the economy, and it is very important tool in the economy. So quantitative instruments controls the money supply quantitatively. Quantitatively means the volume of supply, volume of money supply. And in case of qualitative measures, it changes its direction of money supply. So qualitative measures and quantitative measures both have the important important connection to the money supply, and money supply have very important effects on the economy. Third content is importance and limitations of monetary policy. So what is the importance of monetary policy? What will happen without that, and what will happen if Reserve Bank of India implements various types of monetary policy? What are the limitations of monetary policy? There are various limitations to implement the monetary policy, limitations to the effect of monetary policy. So we have to discuss that. What are the obstacles and the limitations of monetary policy? We are going to discuss. For example, black economy means where the transactions are not registered, means black economy, parallel economy we called it. So the transactions happen in the black market uh, cannot come under the preview of Reserve Bank of India or banking system. So this also affects the money supply in the economy, but it is not under the control of Reserve Bank of India. So it has various implications. So this is the limitations of monetary policy. Second is non-monetized sector, means where money is not used, barter system is there. So after just the independence, when Indian economy was not so developed, at that time many transactions happened without the money. So it is called barter system, and barter systems is the important limitations of monetary policy, because monetary policy is fully depend on the uh, supply of money, and if money is not used there, then monetary policy will not be effective there, or there not, or the effect of changes in monetary policy will not be there. So this is the important limitations of monetary policy. So there are various limitations of monetary policy we are going to discuss in the third content of this chapter. Fourth content is devoted to recent monetary policy of RBI. So Reserve Bank of India have the biannual monetary policy, means bi-monthly monetary policy, means for every 2 months Reserve Bank of India announces the changes in the monetary policy. It holds the meeting by monthly, and Reserve Monetary Policy Committee changes into the um, monetary policy. It changes in the quantitative and qualitative instruments of monetary policy. For example, CRR, cash reserve ratio. So if inflationary situation is there, means जर economy मध्ये महागाई असेल, at that time Reserve Bank of India increases CRR. For example, now coronavirus situation is going on. So what Reserve Bank of India have done from last couple of monetary policy meetings, Reserve Bank of India had continuously decreased the interest rate and all other CRR, bank rate, and cash reserve ratio also, because Reserve Bank of India wants to increase the money supply and give the provide the boost to the economy. So these recent monetary policy we are going to discuss at that time. So we are also going to discuss related facts, related situations and causes of changes in the monetary policy. So this was the second unit. Third unit is devoted to currency management system of RBI. This is the third unit we have introduced newly. So before that the syllabus was different, but now it is a very good syllabus, because in the unit third we have included currency management system of Reserve Bank of India. So in the first content of third unit, we are going to discuss currency printing in India, Mint and press. Mint means where coins are minted, and press means where notes, the currency notes are printed. So we are going to discuss currency printing and minting in India. Then currency distribution channel we are going to discuss in the second content, currency distribution channel and its system. Then there is a new policy introduced by Reserve Bank of India, that is clean bank note policy. Because if you observe, there is the various dirty notes and the unclean notes are there. So Reserve Bank of India introduced newly the clean bank note policy. So third content is devoted to the RBI's clean bank note policy. In the fourth content of third unit, we are going to discuss the problems of counterfeit and soiled currency notes and its solutions. So what are the problem of counterfeit notes? Monetization happened. One of the reason was that there is the counterfeit notes coming from the various neighboring countries from terrorists. So what is there is the always one problem is there in the any economy, that is the problem of counterfeit notes, means the duplicate notes. So what is the status of this problem and what is the solution for that? Then soil currency notes are there. How to Reserve Bank of India how deal with soiled currency notes, and what are the solutions are there with the Reserve Bank of India. Now let us discuss the third unit. Third unit is important because it deals with public debt management and development. So what is the public debt management? Public debt means government's debt. So Reserve Bank of India, as a banker of government, it is the bank of government, so it manages the public debt. Like an individual person, our bank gives us loan, and we borrow from the bank. Like that, central government also borrow from Reserve Bank of India, and it manages public debt as a banker of governments. So public debt management and development is handled by the Reserve Bank of India. In the first content of fourth unit, we are going to discuss the public debt management and RBI. So public debt management done by the Reserve Bank of India. For that, what things Reserve Bank of India do and how it manages, we are going to discuss. In the second content, we are going to discuss the role of RBI in financial inclusions. So the name of our unit is public debt management and development. So what are the development works also Reserve Bank of India do? So this second content is related to development functions of RBI. So role of RBI in financial inclusion. Financial inclusion means inclusion in the financial sector. Inclusion means uh, participating the people who are out of benefits of financial market. Means suppose there is no bank account. Suppose one person don't have the account in bank, then he is missing or she is missing from the benefits of bank accounts. So this was the simple example. Suppose if you don't have the demat account, so if you are missing the benefits of financial market, share market. So like that, if we include all the people in the financial market benefits, then it leads to the development of various individuals. So financial inclusion is very important because some people are getting more benefits than other people. So all the people in economy should get all the benefit of the financial market. So Reserve Bank of India continuously work for that, work for financial inclusion, to include all masses or all people into the benefit of financial development, financial market. For example, for that Reserve Bank of India implements through banking channel Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, then insurance scheme is there, then pension Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana is there. So these are the some examples of financial inclusions. So get the benefits of financial market. Suppose in unorganized sector there is no pension, so after the working age finishes, after the 60, senior citizen who have worked in the unorganized sector will not get the pension. So for that purpose he is excluded from the benefit of pension scheme. So for that Reserve Bank of India implements through banking channel Atal Pension Yojana. So because of that, unorganized sectors people also gets the pension after the he or she finishes working age 60 or whatever the age is there. Third content is devoted to banking training institutions. So these are also very important. That is CAB, College for Agricultural Banking. It is located in the Pune, and NIBM. NIBM means National Institute of Bank Management. So these are two training institutions of reserve set up by Reserve Bank of India, and have important role. These are the training institutions. One works in the agricultural banking, and one is NIBM, that is National Institute of Bank Management. So these two institutions have important role in research also. NIBM is like a IIM levels institute, works in the bank management. So banking training institutions we are going to discuss, and here what are the career opportunities you have also we are going to discuss. In the fourth content of this fourth unit, we are going to discuss development institutions set up by the Reserve Bank of India, that is IDRBT. IDRBT is mostly very important institution who have developed the technological institution, technological research this institute have done, and whatever technology you are observing in the banking sector, and whatever the technology is available with the banking sector is given by this institute. So to change in the technology, to implement the technological changes, to do research in the banking technology is done by this IDRBT. So it is very important institute who have changed Indian whole banking system through its research in banking technology, and through it has given the technology, advanced technology in the banking sector, and contributed development of the country. Because now you can see the on digital transactions happenings on a massive level, and the you can do banking at any time, and through your mobiles, and through through a very small clicks on your mobile. So the credit goes for that to this institute IDRBT. Then second important institute is CAFL, and third is IGIDR. So IGIDR is situated in the Mumbai, and it is very important institute in the working in the research area. It works in the public public finance, and also in various areas, banking, economics. So IGIDR is very important institute set up by the Reserve Bank of India. So friends, this was your syllabus is very interesting and very simple syllabus is there, and you will find we are going to also, I'm going to show you the currency museum, then the all other things related to Reserve Bank of India. You will not get the burden because it is very interesting subject. We will make it interesting, and uh, if possible, then if college permits, then we are going to visit the Reserve Bank of India. If not possible in the first year, then surely we every year we visit the Reserve Bank of India. So you will also get the chance to visit the Reserve Bank of India. It's mint, where the coins are minted, and currency museum also you are going to we are going to visit. So this was the syllabus. Now look at the references and study materials. It is expected from you to read more and more. We are also, I'm going to obviously provide you notes, but also you have to read various books and the visit various websites, visit Reserve Bank of India websites. So here are some references and study materials given. So JK Sayan Prasad Yes Vipradas 2009. Bank Lending is the book. Himalaya Publication House. Then D Surya Chandra Rao's 2008 book is there, Banking Reforms in India. Then Rakesh Mohan, the deputy governor was there in the RBI. Evolution of Central Banking in India is very important book is there. So here you can visit through your internet also. Money Banking and International Trade and Public Finance, Dr. D.M. Mithani, Himalaya Publishing House. Then Reserve Bank of India 2005's History of Reserve Bank of India, 3 volumes are there. These volumes are available on Reserve Bank of India website. Then Varshini PN, Banking Law and Practices, S. Chan Publications. Then Tour NS, Handbook of Banking Information. So these are the some references you can visit and read more and more. You can visit Reserve Bank of India website also and read many things are there. So many research working paper are there, lectures are there, memory lectures are there. So you can visit Reserve Bank of India site and find more and more things on that. So friends, that much in this introductory lecture. In the next lecture we will start actual syllabus. If you have any problems of understanding language, anything, you can write to me, you can tell to me, you can call me, message me, and you have to write comment name in the comment box so that I will get your presentee, and you have to watch full video because I will get time, your time watching time record, and according to that I will mention your presentee. So thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture.